Go love your own enemies. Don't be loving mine. My enemies are the theocratic fascists. I don't love them. I want to destroy them.
Child made in the image of God. Oh no, you're not. You're a faggot. And you can't join your church and you can't go to heaven. This is disgraceful. It's inhuman.
Taking an election through voter registration fraud and gerrymandering is not winning. It's a crime. Taking an election through foreign criminal hacking is not winning. It's treason. I don't think I'm being overly dramatic. I don't think I'm exaggerating. China has threatened the United States. North Korea has threatened the United States. My feeling is Russia either wants to make America weak so we are open to further invasion, or Russia wants somebody as idiotic and thin-skinned and childish as Trump, blowing his lid off on Twitter constantly every time he has a thought. Russia wants that because Russia wants other countries to do its work for them. Russia wants other countries to attack the United States and get rid of it for them. Once upon a time, there were two superpowers at... It wasn't so much a war, but it was a war. It was a war of technology. It was a war of threats and counter-threats. It was called the Cold War. Once upon a time. And then Russia fell. The Soviet Union fell. And now I think Russia would like nothing more than to see its rival fall. One way or another. Either weaken the country so much that Russia can further invade us, or put somebody, I hate to use these words, in charge who will piss off enough powerful countries that those powerful countries will do Russia's work for them and obliterate the United States. Today I wrote the Attorney General. I also sent a copy of this letter to the White House and to my senators and to my congressmen and to the CIA. I pretty much send letters as much as I can to as many different places as I can. So at least I can feel like I did as much as I could. I also call these places. This letter reads, "Every day I wait for justice to happen, and for lawmakers or my government or the Supreme Court to act strongly against this clear and present danger to my country. Indeed, in my lifetime of 54 years, by far and away, the greatest threat to my country and our way of life that I have ever had the profound misfortune to witness. Every day I hear absolute silence from my government, from lawmakers, and the Supreme Court. The election was hacked. Russia was involved and continues to be involved. Trump displayed blank reams of paper as his proof that he is handing over his businesses to others in his same family. Trump continues to mock the U.S. Constitution. He is gleeful about the imminent demise of the Affordable Care Act, which also spells probable death and or suffering for millions of people. This man gets on Twitter daily acting like a child. I have yet to see him manage adult behavior, never mind presidential behavior. He will likewise gleefully take away women's rights, LGBT rights, and our most treasured resource passed down to us from our founding fathers, our national parks. All this damage is about to be done by an illegitimate president who did not result from a fair and correct election, but from an election that he himself admits was hacked. Why has he not been disqualified? He did not win. He is not America's choice. He is the choice of a hostile foreign government whom he routinely praises while he insults ours. America is in jeopardy, and I have yet to see anything but apathy from those who should be forcefully acting to disqualify this man who refuses to put America first over his business interests. He is a fraud. The election result absolutely must be thrown out in order to save my country. A new and fair, correct election must be held. The entire future of this already great country demands it. Here's the thing. If China decides to drop bombs, or if North Korea decides to drop bombs on us, basically doing Russia's bidding, because I really think that's what Russia wants. There's this thing, it's called nuclear fallout. Maybe people in modern times haven't heard of that term, but as a child who grew up in the Cold War, I got to hear a lot about nuclear fallout. And the thing is, the bombs that we have now are much bigger than they used to be. They're a lot bigger than the one that fell on Hiroshima. And this thing called nuclear fallout, well, you know, the people that actually disintegrate when the bomb hits, they're the lucky ones. So China or North Korea or whoever decides to lash out at our child pretending to be president, who illegitimate, whatever, that our government is sitting on its thumbs and just letting take our country and destroy it. The people who decide to lash out and attack America and nuke it, yes, you will kill millions of innocent people who unfortunately had no say in what happened to their government. We didn't even get to vote for our leader this time. We didn't get to choose our leader this time. And our government let this happen. So millions of people who are standing by in horror watching this happen to us will die fairly quickly. But the rest of the world will die too. Because that's the way it is now with nukes. We have the power to destroy the world how many times over? China has the power to destroy the world how many times over? Once is enough, though. You don't really need those other times. All you need is one time over to destroy the world. You only, once it's destroyed, it's destroyed. That's all it really needs, is just one time. And the people in Russia, and the people in Canada, and the people in Mexico, people in the areas around the United States, they will sicken and die. If they don't die immediately, they will sicken and die in short order. And the nuclear fallout will cover the earth. And the people who dropped the bombs on us because they were pissed off, because we have a complete imbecile who sits on Twitter and mindlessly puts down whatever little flicker of thoughts run through his mind, they will sicken and die. The people who dropped the bombs will sicken and die. And it will take them a lot longer to sicken and die. Ultimately, the earth will die. which is just putting it out of its misery, because we already have pretty much destroyed the Earth. It's just a matter of time. The only difference is the way current events are, global warming, climate change, etc., etc., a lot of species will die, including humans. There's a good chance that if the bees die, a lot of life will die, including humans. But if we have Trump pissing off a bunch of countries to the point where they drop nukes, it'll happen a lot faster. And there'll be less species that survive this nuclear fallout than there would be species that survive global warming and climate change. And even the bees dying. The bees die, there will be species of life that survive that. But nuclear fallout, there won't be nearly as many species that survive that. But there will be some species that do survive that too. And life will continue because the Earth is not done yet. The Earth will keep revolving around the sun. New life will happen. And our cities will turn into these skeletons for new plant life to crawl up, creep up, or whatever. But we won't be here to see it. We won't be able to, we won't be here to feel regret. We'll just be gone. I kind of had hoped when the Cold War ended that I would no longer have to walk around in terror, thinking about nuclear war. I actually believed that we were safe. I felt safe. I feel like I did when I was a kid now. I feel that again. That any day, any hour, any minute, everything could just stop. Welcome to the Cold War, Episode 2. We are looking at like, what, 5 days now? And our country is sitting on its thumbs. Our government is sitting on its thumbs. Oh, well, you know. We're basically being invaded and we're sitting on our thumbs. I weep for my country. I grew up always standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, always feeling a surge of pride in my heart when I'd hear the Star Spangled Banner. National anthem play. I'd feel pride when I see the flag appear or be raised for something and then the music would start. I felt pride. I feel shame. I feel shame. I'm ashamed that my government will not protect us and defend our freedoms and our U.S. Constitution that our country is founded on, and the dream that our founding fathers had, and our national parks and the beauty. I'm ashamed that there's so much hate in my country that supports this man and supports the idea of legalizing discrimination and forcing women against their will to have babies, and just supports taking away millions of people's only way of having insurance and health care and being able to continue to survive. People will live shorter lives because of the removal of the ACA, and it sickens me that there are people that support that actually think, well, good, we shouldn't have to take care of other people. I'm sorry, a healthy society cares for its down and out. A healthy society cares for its elderly and its sick and its homeless. And the people that look down their noses at the elderly and the sick and the homeless and the down and out aren't that far away from those things themselves. How dare they look down their noses at others? illness can happen to everyone. Old age does happen to everyone. Losing your job can happen to everyone. Having to go bankrupt can happen to everyone. Losing your savings can happen to everyone. Suddenly finding yourself out on the street without a home can happen to everyone. None of us are exempt. None of us are safe. Life is a struggle. And some of us lose that struggle. But is it so much to hope that other people might feel empathy and compassion and caring to try to reach out a hand and help those people that fall and try to help them back on their feet instead of cutting the ties that are helping them to survive and making it absolutely hopeless for them. And we have this man who's gleefully boasting about doing this to millions of people. I feel ashamed. I feel ashamed that there are people who support this man and boast about it. I feel ashamed that there are people that boast about the idea of discriminating against a whole religion, a whole group of people. This is America. And I feel ashamed that there are people like this in my country. I feel ashamed that there are people that support the idea of a wall around this country. I grew up believing that America was a symbol of freedom for the world and a chance for prosperity and a second chance for the down and out in the world. And that's what the Statue of Liberty symbolizes. And suddenly there's this new idea of America, and it's nothing at all like what I was raised to believe in and love. I had to stop because I was getting emotional, and I'm one of those people that I do not look good when I get sad. I look terrible. I look hideous. And I was getting emotional, so I had to stop and kind of try to collect myself. I know America has made mistakes in the world. I know there's a lot of things in America's history to be ashamed of, but I realize for the first time in my life just how much inside of me, part of my identity, America is. It's a part of me. I feel so much emotion and so much pride in my country, and it's breaking my heart. It's making me feel so shattered inside to see everything that I believed, everything that I saw as good and wonderful and great about my country fall to ashes. And I'm heartbroken. And I'm ashamed that my own government is doing nothing.